Hey, good Wednesday morning. Welcome to this week's weekly leadership webinar. Today is going to be a little bit different. Today is a recorded webinar. I'm actually going to be teaching today in a summit for the Family Business Center. So I'm not able to join everybody today. So today is going to be, it's recorded. It's going to be some good information, probably a little bit more technical in nature. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or email anyone on our team, and we will do our best to answer your questions in the next couple of days. The first thing I want to go through is kind of an update on the PPP. So we're going to go through these three items today. Clarification on question 46. So what is considered a good faith certification for asking for the loan? Next, we're going to talk about applying for loan forgiveness. I think that's on the forefront of everyone's minds now that they've been approved, they've had money for a few weeks, and now what does it look like to have this, to apply for the forgiveness? And then lastly, we're going to talk about some expected technical changes that may be coming up. So the first question that I want to go through here is what is considered good faith? If we flash back a couple of weeks ago, I talked about companies updating their corporate minute book to show that they applied for the money in good faith when they submitted the application, to have it documented in your minute book that the money was necessary. There was economic uncertainty because I think at that point a lot of companies didn't know, or there wasn't clarification from the SBA on what would be considered asking for the money in good faith. So there's really two paths now that we can go down. One is for loans less than $2 million. So if you're a business and you received a loan less than $2 million, you will be deemed to have made the required certification concerning that loan, concerning the necessity of that loan. And really what the SBA has done is they've determined that there is a safe harbor appropriate because borrowers with loans below the $2 million don't typically have access to adequate sources of liquidity in the current economic situation. So the SBA is considering that any company who received a loan less than $2 million is deemed to have needed it just by the fact that the loan amount was small, and they are considered a small business. So that's the first path. The second path is loans greater than $2 million. And this is the one that we talked about a little bit deeper before a couple weeks ago. So we do know now that loans greater than $2 million, that the SBA will be reviewing those loans and making a determination that the money was necessary or not. At this point, we don't know what that review looks like, who will be doing that. The SBA says they will be doing it. I'm not sure if that will be done in connection with a bank or not. I think at this point, that's all to be seen. So anyway, if you have a loan greater than $2 million, it will be subject to review and to make sure that you are in compliance and in acting in good faith. So this was really some good clarification by the SBA that they did this. There have been many companies that received less than $2 million that have been up in arms in the last couple of weeks trying to determine if they should have given the money back because maybe they accepted the money in good faith, but it's turned out that they didn't actually need the money. So I think a lot of businesses have kind of been up in arms about what does this look like. And now with this question 46 clarified last week, it's been taken care of. Next is loan forgiveness. So if you visit the COVID-19 page on our website, there is now the loan forgiveness. The Department of Treasury published the loan forgiveness application. We have posted to our website. You can go grab it there. You can go to the Department of Treasury website and grab it. I believe it's also on the SBA website. So there's a few different places you can grab that application. Your bank should have it also. But anyway, there is a loan forgiveness application that as a borrower, you will be required to submit that to your bank, and they will be doing some verification to make sure that you actually qualify for the loan forgiveness. So I kind of wanted to go through this as kind of a detailed slide here. but it's detailed because it's required to be detailed. So what are we going to need, or what are you going to need to submit? Payroll documentation verifying the number of full-time equivalent employees on payroll and pay rates for the periods described. This is to include payroll tax filings reported to Internal Revenue Service and state income or payroll unemployment insurance filings. Documentation, including canceled checks, payment receipts, transcripts of accounts, or other documents verifying payments on covered mortgage obligations, payments on covered lease obligations, and covered utility payments. So what is being requested here is give us the proof that you spent the money where you were required to spend the money. So it's essentially an audit, right? An audit of how the money was spent. And then a certification from a representative of the eligible authorized borrower to make such certification that the documentation is true and correct, and the amount for which forgiveness is requested was used to retain employees, make interest payments on covered mortgage obligations, make payments on a covered rent obligation, or make a covered utility payment. So the loan forgiveness application is asking for a certification that that the borrower used the money where that was necessary. And then there's also this throw in kind of last bullet point here, number 4 on the list, is any other documentation that the administrator deems necessary. Not quite sure what that means yet. I don't really want to draw a lot into that at this point, but there may be more information requested at some point. So this is really what's going to be required to be submitted with the loan forgiveness application. Again, if you visit the COVID-19 page of our website, there's an application there. It is 11 pages long with instructions and subcalculations. I don't know that it's much different than a tax return, other than it's not going to be, does not look as deep. You can engage us to help complete and certify the application. That's going to be a service that we are going to be providing. So if you would like us to complete and certify the application, please let us know. We need to get a list going of our clients that are going to be needing that help, because I imagine there's going to be several of our clients are going to be asking. So we need to make sure that we have this kind of put together and scheduled out for everybody, because everybody's going to need it at the same time. The last thing that I want to cover here is possible upcoming changes to the PPP. So I read in a Wall Street Journal article on the 17th, which was Sunday, that there may be significant changes to the PPP by lawmakers and government officials. And I think really what's happening now is the focus is starting to shift from the original focus of keeping employees on payroll to helping small businesses from failing. So I think that's a good shift. That's good information. Glad that there may be changes. And there may be changes likely due to giving businesses more flexibility to spend the money. So talked about, you had 8 weeks to spend the money. You received 2.5 months payroll, if you will, or covered payroll, and you had 8 weeks to spend that. So the government is talking about extending that time frame. That time frame is too tight. They also may change the requirement to spend 75% on payroll related costs, and it may be maybe a little more broad based. I think the consensus is that a lot of small businesses that are closed through this process, that have been closed, they got the money and they can't even technically open. If you look at restaurants, they can't even open, right? They've been shut down. So they're kind of pushing back. The restaurant industry groups are pushing back, saying, hey, it's great, we got the money, but we're closed. So can you stretch the timeframes out so that we can spend the money to bring back our employees when we can actually open, and that we can use the money on more than just payroll. So it looks like there's going to be some changes, and this all is according to the Wall Street Journal article, which I believe to be not fake news. But there should be 2 ways of changes. Technical fixes in new guidelines should be coming out in the coming days. That's things that the Department of Treasury can make technical fixes, but broader changes could require congressional action. So that's really, something that we need to be aware of, that this may be changing. Again, we haven't seen it change. Could be coming in the next couple of weeks. We've talked about this being an ever-changing landscape and that we don't know what is happening with the PPP all of the time, although it is impacting, I think at this point, all of our clients. So again, this is a fluid situation, expect it to change, and we will go from there. So that's really all I have today. I know I said it was a brief, quick update. Hopefully it was valuable to you. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself. Please reach out to our team. Most all of our team can answer questions and help you with anything you need. Thanks. Bye.